Taliban militants fed up with office culture, ready to quiet quit. Really? Based proletarian Taliban. Taliban member Gul Aga Jalali. Hopefully that's what his name is pronounced like. There was a member of the Taliban. I don't care. At the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation at Kabul, Jalali used to spend his nights planting bombs, but since the Taliban swept back to power in 2001, hundreds of fighters have returned to school. Almost 2 years after the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, the jihadists who transitioned from the battlefields to paper-pushing government jobs in the city are ready to quiet quit. This is actually a consistent problem for revolutionaries, you know? Like, revolutionary groups are primarily military. So you get together the kinds of people who are willing to go out there and fight and die for for a cause. But when you win, you now have hundreds of thousands of people, no more conflict, and you need to move them over to like civil service jobs. So it's actually quite a difficult shift. Transitioning to civilian life sucks for everyone. Yeah, this is unironically one of the reasons why countries maintain a standing military, because trying to like do these big waves of recruitment and release as conflicts happen cause big issues. Think of like the Vietnam War, for example. It causes problems. Yeah, it'll cause problems in Russia too. The Afghanistan Analyst Network, a nonprofit policy research organization working to increase the understanding of life in Afghanistan, released a report last month examining how the jihadists who took over Kabul, many of whom arrived in the capital for the first time, were finding city life with the new rules. Okay, I have no idea what Kabul looks like. What is city life in Afghanistan? Pardon my Orientalist fascination here, but I have no clue. A city? Well, sure, but like in Afghanistan. Huh. Well, I won't say, I was about to say I won't say it's beautiful, but honest to God, a lot of these buildings have more ornamentation on them than 5-over ones that you see getting built in American residential areas. So I guess I don't really have any grounding to make fun of them for that. Doesn't Kabul have like a ton of people? Or am I thinking of another Middle Eastern capital city? Nope. 4.43 million. Woo! Kabul is not Middle East. Okay, no, technically Afghanistan is not in the Middle East, but come on.
Thing to do.
Oh, sorry. No, that wasn't the video I was trying to get to, Gadget Gaming. Thank you for looking, though. It's the edge, kind of. Yeah, whatever. Listen, any country that America invades in the early 2000s is the Middle East. It's in the Middle East by definition. Researcher Savawoon Samim interviewed 5 jihadists who had spent several years of their lives fighting for the Taliban. They ranged in age from 24 to 32 and had spent between 6 and 11 years at the Taliban at different ranks. A Taliban commander, a sniper, a deputy commander, and 2 fighters, Samim wrote in his report. Broadly speaking, all of our interviewees preferred their time as fighters in what they considered a jihad. Now the men find themselves shackled with the bureaucracy of running a country as they work civilian jobs and security postings, spend too much time in traffic and on Twitter, and yearn for the tranquility of village life. Okay. That's crazy, man. I think the Taliban watches you. We encourage workplace democracy and worker cooperative. Hey, critical support, baby. Critical support. Oh, so they don't let women get education, huh? Well, honestly, I was on the fence about that too. Let's go. We're jihadists now. We're pro-Taliban. Look at the bottom tweet. Oh, hello. Tequila Sunset. How the fuck did you... How does the Taliban feel about femboy furry porn? Brother, this is an inappropriate question. Tequila! Don't get me jihaded. I thought they'd be based. Sorry, Taliban insurgents jerk it to femboy furry porn quietly. They don't broadcast their haram behavior on Twitter. I like how by saying brother here, he basically is saying my brother in Christ. It's like implied. Yeah, he didn't deny it. He just said it's inappropriate to ask that publicly. Vaush, there are literally thousands of Talibs on Twitter, but this one isn't a real one. Yeah, but I choose to believe that it's real. And that's what matters. We couldn't destroy the Taliban, but office work destroyed the Taliban, said one TikToker reviewing articles and quotes from the report. Here are the various reasons the interviewees are fed up with the 9 to 5. Mundane office culture. The Taliban used to be free of restrictions, but now we sit in one place behind a desk and computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Life's become so wearisome you do the same things every day. I can't believe we're getting critiques of like American work culture from like Taliban insurgents, you know what I mean? Like American workers are reading this going like, yeah, me too, brother. I wish I was also fighting a great jihad against the West, the infidels. In our ministry, there's little work for me to do. Therefore, I spend most of my time on Twitter. We're connected to speedy Wi-Fi and internet. Many mujahideen, including me, are addicted to the internet, especially Twitter. Oh, no, no. And with a 9 to 5 come the dreaded commute and actually having to show up for the job in order to get paid. What I don't like about Kabul is its ever-increasing traffic holdups, Omar Mansur, 32, says. These days, you have to go to the office before 8 a.m., then stay there before 4 p.m. Well, you know what, maybe you shouldn't have become anti-Western jihadists without having a solid plan for bureaucratic administration. What do you think happens after you defeat the ANA? What do you think happens after America pulls out? Did you guys not consider this? Did you not think you would ever win? If you don't go, you're considered absent, and the wage for that day is cut from your salary. We're now used to that, but it was especially difficult for the first 2 or 3 months. Trying to explain to a Taliban jihadist the concept of showing up for work. Added responsibilities. Government work comes with a lot of pressures and responsibilities the men were not prepared for or particularly wanted. In the time of jihad, life was very simple. All we had to deal with was making plans for ta'arruz against the enemy and for retreating, said Huzaifa. People didn't expect much from us, and we had little responsibility towards them, whereas now if someone is hungry, he deems us directly responsible for that. Oh, boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! You wanted a different country, you joined the Taliban, you beat off the ANA, and now you can't feel too bad for these guys. Remember, guys, the Taliban are monsters. Also, a lot of them have like child sex slaves. So, it is funny, but at the same time, Abdul Salam 26 says, whatever happens in Afghanistan, people blame us. Even a minor misdeed by us makes it to the media that the Taliban are doing this and that. It's like the cameras of the entire world are watching us. Yeah, you break it, you buy it vibes. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Why is this on Yahoo Sports? They copy-pasted this from a Time article. The Time article had a paywall, so I just Googled the title, and it turns out Yahoo Sports just copy-pasted the article. Proletarian Yahoo. Lack of social lives. Work is heavily cut into their social lives, too. Those in Kabul, like me, work from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., so most of the week we don't get any time to meet each other, said Mansur. The camaraderie among fighters has dwindled, the jihadists say, as previously non-existent hierarchies are now far more apparent, and many of them get swept up in the pursuit of money. Oh, no, no. I sometimes miss the jihad life for all the good things it had, said Nafi. During jihad, you couldn't have known the difference between a commander and a foot soldier like me. Kamran, a 27-year-old deputy group commander, longs for the simple life. Now when someone's nominated for a government job, he first asks whether that position has a car or not. We used to live among the people. Many of us have now caged ourselves in our offices and palaces. During the insurgency, Samim notes the men did not need to earn money to support their families, as the movement covered their expenses. The jihad, a religious duty which exempted them from such everyday concerns, is over. They now have to work for the survival of their families like everyone else. Aw, boo-hoo. Literally, like, what have the women been doing this whole time, you know? Let's be real. A lot of these guys are literally like the equivalent of alt-right militants who get radicalized and want to spend their entire days LARPing around in like Patriot prayer gear, not having to go back to work, have mom make all their meals. And now they're like getting to work and it's like, I have to show up. Women have been working with fewer rights than me for longer hours this entire time. Like, Yeah, women are currently under permanent house arrest, can't divorce their husbands, are banned from working and schooling. Really difficult to feel bad for these guys, to be honest. The high cost of rent and relative low pay have been a barrier for Mansur, who is not earning enough money to move his family to the city. Salam echoed about the high cost of living in Kabul and said he missed the freedom of the jihad with little supervision and a clear purpose. Yeah, okay. There's a proverb in our area that money is like a shackle, says Salam. Now if we complain or don't come to work or disobey the rules, they cut our salary. Oh, the unimaginable tyranny of having your salary cut when you complain. Hey, guys, what does the Taliban do to people who resist their rule out of curiosity? We have to show up for work or they cut our pay. Capitalism always wins. Yeah, well, there's a reason why it's called historical materialism. There's a reason why they're called material forces and factors, all right? They weigh on us all. Visiting the world's most dangerous country. From bald and bankrupt. There's no way you're actually bankrupt with 4 million YouTube subs.
Alaikum, how are you? You okay? Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Sabtiga.
Finally meet my friend. How are you?
Thank you. How are you? We're good.
So happy to be here. At last, I'm finally here.
You're not allowed to mention the W.
Hot. Look at it all.
God, he really does look like every Western, like, danger tourist, doesn't he? Isn't it like a stare? Like every like white guy in dangerous parts of the world has a shaved head, a beard, sunglasses, like a white polo. Isn't this guy a Nazi? Is he? He's awful. Oh, there are rumors he's a sex. Okay. I don't know anything about this guy. I'm just seeing him for the first time.
There's no lights on upstairs.
But they have. Just want to. I've cut it. School, no. Finish school. Working. Okay. Afghanistan, Zindabad. Zindabad.
I'm trying to see if I can like ever see women in crowds. And man, I know this is like a fairly superficial complaint, but at the same time, fuck the Taliban, fuck Afghanistan, fuck Saudi Arabia, and you know what? Fuck conservative Islam. The idea of like living in a public space where I don't get to see bitches is so wild. Like that sounds like it's horrible. Like, yeah, I've got a great idea for my civilization. What if I didn't have any hot bitches walking around? What the fuck are you guys thinking? What do you... It's all this guy. It's not like other... like you'd want to see Afghanistan, not... Yeah, like... I guess that's a lady because of the head thing. Wait, isn't this guy dead now? Kind of gay, not gonna lie. True. This is a different guy, isn't it? Real Lord Miles? No, this is a different guy. Checked out, bro. This guy was like far right or whatever. He was like, yeah, my brother's in Afghanistan. We all know what's up. Haha. And then he'd go over to Brooklyn and be like, oh yeah, but there's black people here. Very dangerous. But he went missing in Afghanistan just a couple of weeks ago. So he's with his brethren now. Go now to the great jihad in the sky. They go for Thailand to trans women. They go to Thailand for trans women. Fuck, do I want to get canceled for this? I don't think it makes you a sex pest inherently to engage in sex tourism. Literally, if you believe that sex work is as legitimate, like fundamentally, as any other industry, the idea of traveling, like for sex work is no different from traveling for like to enjoy their cuisine or some other thing. The problem is if you're traveling to go to countries with lower standards of like protection for sex workers or lower ages of consent. Obviously, a lot of sex tourists are doing that specifically. You know what I mean? But if a person went over to like Thailand and they just like, I don't know, there was like a firm, I don't know what sex work is like in Thailand. I have no idea. And there was like a firm or like a business and there was like well taken care of, like, I don't know, trans ladies, because that's what everyone associates with Thailand. And then you go there and you sleep with them and you come back and they're all like adults and they're all treated about as well as sex workers anywhere else. I don't think there's anything fundamentally different. Obviously, though, like realistically, a lot of people do the sex tourism stuff specifically to go to women who are basically trafficked or like children, which is not, you know, not good. Thailand has worse protections. Well, I don't even know what protections America has because in America, prostitution is illegal. So, I mean, except for like Las Vegas, I guess. Yeah, but do you really want AIDS? Well, I think that's a rather callous attitude to take. I'm pretty sure you can have sex with people in other countries without getting AIDS. I'm sure it's happened a couple of times. Also, there's the issue of fetishism / racism that comes with going to places like Thailand for sex tourism. Yeah, for sure. It's like a common issue. That's why I'm saying there's nothing inherently bad about it, but like obviously circumstantially, a lot of bad stuff anyway does, you know, there is a lot of stuff associated. Vaush, not gonna lie, thinking having sex with women on the other part of the world is somehow different is kind of cringe. Okay, I see what you're getting at, but a couple of points. I don't actually think it's wrong, fundamentally, to find some groups of people more attractive than others. I think a lot of people have preferences when it comes to like body shape, skin tone, even aesthetic tendencies like fashion or cultural sensibilities. And I think like it's possible to have that without being a freak about it. Like it's well known, for example, that I like hooked noses. I like beakish noses, which means that like women from the Mediterranean are really hot to me. Basically anything from Palestine wrapped around to Italy, and like I have a thing for that. But like I don't think that's like if I went over to like Greece and met a cute girl, I don't think it's like, you're racially fetishizing. You know, it's like, you know what I'm talking about? But also it can be a cultural thing, right? What have we learned about you saying certain things are inherently bad in the internet? Well, okay, I feel like this shouldn't be that controversial of a take, personally. Again, like the problems here are like exploitative behavior, going after people who are unprotected, going after, well, you can bang them unprotected if they're cool with that, you know, that's up to them. But going after people who are legally like very vulnerable or trafficked, or obviously if they're, you know, like young, you want to avoid that as well. That's bad. What if I really like flat faces? I don't know where you'd find flat. I don't know what I associate with flat faces. No nose, like Voldemort. Why even justify you find certain aesthetics being attractive to you? Welcome to being a human Jesus. Okay, yeah, because the only thing that I want to distinguish with here, and this is the problem people keep running into, okay? It's like, and by the way, if you talk to most people, they'll agree with me on this. Talk to a black woman about this, okay? If there's a white guy and they're into black women because they think that darker skin tones are just like kind of pretty, and they think that like black hair is pretty, and they think black ladies' faces are pretty, and they like the traits associated with black women, like, I don't know, maybe a wider nose or like fuller lips. And then they're like, yeah, well, I just think black ladies are really pretty. I think most black women would go like, okay, great. Like, okay, cool. You know, I don't think they have an issue. The problem is that a lot of people who fetishize black women are doing it in this like, yeah, man, I love it because they're wilder than other girls. Yeah, man. Or they say shit like jungle princess or whatever. In which case, now we have a problem. The problem is when you start like extrapolating behaviors rather than just appreciating like fundamental aesthetic tendencies, right? It's the same with like Asian chicks, right? If you're into like how Asian chicks look, God be with you. But then like you look at most white guys who are into Asian chicks, it's not because of how they look, it's because they like the idea of like a demure, submissive, not feminism corrupted Asian lady. And it's like, okay. But that's not an inherent thing. That's just them being really weird and racist politically. So it's, you know, it's not good. Some black chicks like it when you say stuff like that, though. Please directly consult with the black chick in question before saying stuff like jungle princess around them. I promise you, that's really something you want to vet with them beforehand. Yeah, consent is important. What are we talking about? Okay. End the segment. Get me out of here.